And as our next guest, I'd like to introduce someone who I have an interesting and very short history with. I've only known her since November. And I've known her because me and Lauren had our wedding in the other room here at LPR in November. And we were like, we're not going to have a normal wedding. And so we had storytellers and musicians, and then at the end of the wedding, we got married. So Sandi Marx, please come to the stage. 7-time Moth story winner. Wait, is that what you said? The Moth, you won the Moth 7 times, right? And she also spoke at my wedding, which is just winning the world. And so I hand it to Miss Sandi, which you can see on Twitter at Sandi Marx.
How do I get this sucker out of here? There we go. Okay, so this is on a much lighter note. That was really incredible. I'm much more shallow as you know. All right, so this is the story. And it's true, because all my stories were unfortunately true. Okay, so when I was about 7 years old, I had discovered and realized that I was gifted, okay? Now, not conventionally gifted, like I didn't play the flute or the piano. I couldn't like stick a landing from the balance beam. No, I was going to win gifts like cash and prizes. Okay, now the reason I knew I was going to be gifted was because when I was 7 or 8, I won a raffle at the Baskin Robbins in our neighborhood, an ice cream cake. And I knew this was a sign I was off to the races. And from that moment on, I was always looking over my shoulder for the next gift that was coming my way. And I made my mother start to get every goddamn magazine from the Publishers Clearinghouse. Because I knew that this was the ticket. And any day now, we lived in Queens in this like tiny cramped apartment on the ground floor. But I knew that one day, the Prize Patrol and Ed McMahon were coming into my house with that huge oak tag check, and I had already like left out the pinking shears and the whole right scissor because I was going to have to cut it to get it in the door. It didn't matter. I was so sure and convinced that I was winning the big prize that even when I was an adult, I used to look on the rail. I lived in Westchester in Scarsdale. I would look at the Metro North on the station. I would look down the platform for that white truck, thinking, "Oh no, they're coming with the train. They already left my house." So I always knew that I was going to be a winner. Now this was also reinforced because in the 5th grade, in Mrs. Fail's hygiene class, I won Miss Posture, and I beat Susan Ehrlich, who had way better posture than I did, but I knew how to sell it, and I thought, yes, it's all up here, posture, it's not here, it's up here, and this was my road to like just prizes. Okay, so time passed. I wasn't winning bullshit, I wasn't winning anything, and we were really poor folks, so I needed to believe in something. So I finally get to college, I go to NYU, and back then, I almost could afford it. It was, believe it or not, $125 a credit to go to NYU. Now, obviously, I'm from the Stone Pages, but that's what it was. Now, what made it worse was I was in the drama department because I was an actress. So I knew I had no hope of ever making a living, and I couldn't afford to graduate, and my parents had nothing. So I needed to find a really sensible solution if I was going to pay that last year's tuition. And there was no chance in hell that I could be a waitress and raise money because I was so clumsy. Like I would like be paying everybody's dry cleaning bills, and I could have folded 1,000 of like sweaters at the Gap. It was never going to pay enough money to pay this tuition. So I thought, okay, I've got a solid plan. I'm going to win the money on a game show. This was going to happen. Now, in New York, back in the 80s, there were 2 game shows. Jeopardy! Which I thought for a minute maybe, but then I realized I'm not smart enough. Plus, I couldn't like figure out how to answer a question in the form of a question. So, no. And then I thought, all right. Well, the other show was called the $10,000 Pyramid. Now, if you're too young to know the show, it was hosted by Dick Clark, who was really cute. He was like America's sweetheart from America's Bandstand, but his later career was hosting a game show. and the show was so easy, any moron could win on the show. All you had to do was word associate. So if you say watch, I say, you know, hourglass or whatever. So and they have like some like C- celebrity who'd be your partner. You know, like if it were today, it would be like Khloe Kardashian. It wouldn't be Kim, she's too big. It would be like Khloe. So I thought, okay, this is it. This is my break. I'm going to win my tuition on the $10,000 pyramid. So I look it up, and I realized that once a month, Bob Stewart Productions, they ran the show, had open call. And if you're an actor, you know an open call means that everybody and their Aunt Sylvia is going to show up. But I thought, I'm going to win. I'm a winner. I'm gifted. So I buy the home version, and I start playing it at NYU with everybody. I bribe everybody. Like I give them a joint or I give them a beer and I go, you gotta play the whole version with me. And they're all like hard rolling their eyes like, okay. So I start playing a lot and I know I'm actually pretty good at this game because I know I'm a wordsmith. I'm gifted and I'm a wordsmith. So finally the big day of the open call comes and I assume there'll be like a handful. There are hundreds of people. Now, there are at least a third of them are like homeless, getting out of the cold. And the other third of these people are like tourists. They're total rank amateurs. They have no business wasting my time. And then the other third, they're like me. We're like gamers. We're here for the prize. You can see like, it's like, honestly, it's like the Hunger Games with words. I mean, everybody's, all right, so they file us in, and they bring out the home version of the game. It's like, really, like, hot stuff around there. They got a real big budget. So they have us play. Now, I'm not stupid. I've been watching, and I know what they want. They want animated, and they want you to sit up, and they want you to be really loud, and like, you know, be sort of interesting. Most of the people on the show are actors. I mean, that's basically who was out of work looking for this kind of job. So I knew how, so I got through the whole day. Got rid of the homeless, we got rid of the amateurs, and then it's down to like 12 of us, and finally this woman, Edie, she was the head of the contestants. She looked kind of like a big Buddha, and she said, congrats. You're on the show. Yes. All right, so now okay, now I've got 2 weeks, and they tell us you're going to show up in 2 weeks, 6 a.m. call time at the Ed Sullivan Theater. Like, we're talking like Topo Gigio and the Beatles, and, you know, like Bye Bye Birdie, the Ed Sullivan Theater. I'm so excited. Okay, so I have 2 weeks to prepare, and I'm in DEFCON. That's like orange alert. I miss classes because I'm so busy practicing. I have become so insane that if you saw me on the street and you said, hey, Sandy, what time is it? I would say, Timex, Rolex, Movado. I was like one of those, like a thesaurus who has Tourette's syndrome. In the grocery store, if the cashier said, paper or plastic, I say sacks, bags, things like that. So I was prepared. Now, also, I was so excited and nervous, I just stopped eating. Right? I was just worrying away any pounds I had, and I had really short hair, so I wasn't really big to start with. By the time of the date of the show, I swear to God, I looked like a crack fiend going to a spelling bee. So the day comes, I take the F train from Queens. I get there, they tell us wear something bright, no stripes, no white, no black. I wear like one of those Bill Cosby sweaters, and has shoulder pads. I'm a hot mess. I look like Marie Osmond, but like on drugs. So I get in there, it's 6 in the morning. All right, so we walk in, all of us, and we notice there is a mountain of donuts and coffee, and I know what their game is. They want to get us so fucking hyped up that by the time we're on the air, we will be like you see contestants when you go to these shows. They're like crazy. So, but here's where it gets interesting. They overbook the show by one contestant, but they don't tell us until we get there. I know, it's horrible. And they tell us, the indignation, they tell us, oh, well, in case someone had stage fright or got sick, we have to overbook the show. But again, they don't tell us. They let us play off each other, and the worst man loses. So we've been all practicing. I've lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds, and now I know one of us is getting the axe. So not going to be me. I got those 30 credits. I have to pay for it. So we start playing. We're drinking the coffee. Okay, I make it. I'm going to be Tuesday. They shoot the whole week in one day, and they have us, get set up. And they say, okay, that's your, oh, thank God. All right, now here's the most important part. Who is going to be the celebrities? Now the gold standard on this show is Tony Randall. All right, now, if you don't know who Tony Randall is, he's like this erudite sort of actor who did The Odd Couple and movies, but he knew his words. He knew his words, and you can associate them like crazy. It wasn't going to be Tony Randall that week. No, we had, this guy named Salva Scuso, who was on a show called Soap, if you're old enough to remember it. It starred Billy Crystal, and he was the priest. He's a moron. Okay, the other is this comedian named Joanne Worley, who was on Laugh-In, and her big talent was saying, not a genius. Not a genius. All right, so this is what we get. You get what you get. That's what the way it works. Okay, so they file us in the order of the days of the week. So I'm right behind Monday in my Bill Cosby sweater. I'm so excited. I'm paying that tuition. Everyone's behind me. All right, now here's the other thing that some of you might not know. They refrigerate the theater. All right, now if you've ever been to like the Tonight Show, oh my God, it's a meat locker. Now, I have a theory. One was that Dick Clark was already getting a little old, and he had on so much makeup. Plus, this is shocking, but his makeup artist drew in the sideburns, like a little widow's peak. Oh my God. So if the lights were not, if they were so hot and it wasn't, he would have been like dripping like this. And may he rest in peace, he was a terrible nail biter. And this I will explain later, but you don't want your idol to be biting their nails. But anyway, that's another story. Okay, now the other thing is, if you ever watch a studio audience, they seem a little too excited about watching these stupid shows. Now, not only because of the warm-up guy, but they're so fucking cold. They don't want to get hypothermia, so they're clapping their hands to warm the hell up. So, none of this was stopping me, even though there was vapor coming out of our mouths. All right, the Mondays get up, and they do remarkably well. As a matter of fact, this other young guy, he's also an actor, he wins $10,000. So I'm thinking, okay, we got this. These guys aren't as stupid as they look. Okay. All right, so I get up there. Now, I am so in the zone. As soon as that red light comes on, I'm like, okay, let's go. All right, so I get Salva Scuso at first, and the clues come flying, and it's, it's the category was things in a car. So he's like, seatbelts, things in a car. All right, I'm really good. I get 7 out of 7, like this, and it's time to go to the big pyramid. That's like where you win the real money. And I know it's my destiny. I'm gifted. So we walk over there. I'm going to receive the clues. And Sal's going to give. And Dick makes me put my hands in these leather straps. It's like being at the gynecologist. These stirrups. And you hold on. And then that's when I found out about the nail biting, because he rubs your shoulders. And you're sitting there, and the audience is in. You're like, ooh. But I'm looking at the thing, and I don't give a shit. So explain. Now, the most important detail in the game is, okay, you can only list. You can't say a part of the answer. You can't use your hands. Okay, you ready? Yes. Okay, we go. Okay, I'm fucking gifted. We go right up there. I have 29 seconds to get the top square. I mean, I'm already thinking in my head what courses I'm going to enroll for, because I can multitask while I'm playing. I'm so good. And then he starts, and Sal says, okay, a letter, a baby, a new baby, and I know the answer. Okay, he says, and I say at the same time, things that are delivered. Okay, Salva Scuso was so excited that he knew I was going to get it. He said it along with me. So then you hear, he lost me. And the look on his face. And so Dick Clark comes over and he says, I am so sorry. But he said the answer at the same time you did, so you don't win the $10,000. Okay, I'm ready to die. Meanwhile, Salva Scuso, he's trying to be nice, so he says, how can I make it up to you? And I say, write me a check. And he starts telling me about his mortgage and his divorce. It's like, oh, like, cry me a river. So, all right, I leave there. $350, a case of Slim Jims, and Carter's baby clothes. I'm 23 years old. And I slink home. I'm despondent. I have to drop out of NYU. This was my ship coming in, and it just sailed right out. All right, so I have to drop out of school, and I do. I don't finish. But here's the thing, because I know that I am gifted, I figure it out. Now I do try to be an actress for a while, and I'm so really understanding of who I really am. I was sort of mediocre. I got that. Okay, so you have to know who you are. You have to know. That's part of being a really successful person. Be honest with who you are. So I became a talent agent. And I did that I have a lot of my clients here. And I did that for over 20 years. And it was the joy of my life. Nothing could have brought me more like happiness, success. I was able to live well with my family in Scarsdale, where after I grew up in, like, we're talking about the really underneath, like, the ground floor in Queens. And life was incredible. And I really, think it's because, not because I was so gifted, but because I knew that I was focused enough to want something. Okay, now this is the amazing thing. 10 years pass, I'm already doing really well at work, things are fine, and I repeat my stories a lot, and people usually roll their eyes like, oh, she's pulling out that one again. All right, so people in my office knew my $10,000 pyramid story, and you'll never believe it, but guess who comes to my office to meet one of my agents? Now, I own this business. I have 60 employees, and I have thousands of clients with my name on the sign. Who comes up to the office for a meeting? Sal Visco. Okay, I think, God forbid, I should never leave anything alone. Not that type. So, Joanne, the reception goes, you won't believe it, he's here. I said, right, I'm coming. So he goes to meet another one of the agents in the back of the office, and I am beside myself. So I'm already planning, like, what am I going to say to this guy? So I get over there, and I just stick out my hand, and I go, Sal, so great to see you again. Do I look familiar? And he says, no, but he knows that I'm there, I work there, he better be nice, he's being politically correct. I said, well, does the name Sandy Handelman, that was my maiden name, does that sound any more familiar? And he still doesn't know. I said, well, what about when I was on the $10,000 pyramid with you? And then you can see the look on his face, like Bambi in the headlights. So he said, oh, shit, again? He said, are you going to follow me the rest of my life? I said, no. I said, listen, Sal, this is what I want to tell you. It's fine. Thank you. You did me a huge favor. You screwing up was my gift, because all of this is mine. And maybe if I had finished college, I would be here. I'd still think I have some talent. So, I just want to come over to thank you. And I hope you're well, because I'm doing great. I didn't need your stealing money. I'm on my own. And I got to tell you, folks, that was better that day than winning on that pyramid. And that's my story. And I'm just telling you, even on the worst possible day, when you think I'm the biggest loser, something the next day is going to happen where you're going to realize, okay, life's got something in store for me. Things are not that bad. Thank you.
When Sandy told me she wanted to tell a story, told me her story would be about $10,000 pyramid, I knew it was Sandy, so I was like, I don't want to hear anything else. I just want to hear the story by itself. I have two questions. One question, one statement, another question. First question is, you said you got a box of Slim Jims out of the thing?
Slim Jims.
Did you eat the Slim Jims?
Of course, I was poor. And they were free, I'm a Jew. Whatever it is.
Wait, the box was only free? I thought it was like a big economy box.
It was like a case of it. It took a while, but we got through it.
Okay. I just have to tell this story. So you're talking about it being cold in the room, and I was the producer on a NYMF show, if you guys know NYMF, New York Musical Theater Festival show, and the writer was George Slaughter's daughter. George Slaughter was the producer of Laugh-In. And so this is a person who worked in comedy, lives in comedy, comes in comedy. And the show opens, everything's going fine. The show opens, and it's the dead of summer. This is when NIF was in the summertime, and we were in like an old church, and then there was like 2 small window air conditioners, air conditioning about 99-seat audience, right? And the show starts, and the daughter runs up and she goes, "It's not cold enough in here. It's not cold enough in here." I go, "I can't do anything else." She goes, Get more air conditioners. Get more air conditioners." I go, "What's the deal?" She goes, "My father said it had to be." I forget what it was. It was like 68 degrees or something, or lower. She goes, "The comedy, the jokes are in Christmas. It's not cold." But they take that cold seriously.
They take it seriously. I mean, part of it's because the lights on stage are so bright, but it's more like I've gone with clients to sitting in the green room at like the Sullivan Theater now, or more recently, it's still, those theaters are still freezing.
Oh, they're freezing.
Because they're nervous that one of the audience members will start snoring or sleeping, and then if there's a live taping, you know.
I don't want that.
Yeah, and you want to see wild, crazy clapping in the audience. You do.
You have to have a cold if you want it.
Gotta be cold.
Next time y'all here, we'll have a comedy show and it'll be freezing. All right, so the theme of today is take a leap, right? Take a leap, which you took a leap, both to get to the show, number one. I mean, you got all the way that far, and then taking a leap afterwards. I mean, I think even dropping out of school is taking a leap, and then starting your business is taking a leap. So all this being said, from the loss of the $10,000 pyramid, when you were sitting there at the top, what's the greatest lesson? Like, I mean, the story told a lesson.
Right.
What is the resonating lesson that lived with you?
Well, I think the more present lesson is that I'm turning 60 this year, and when I turned 58, I decided to start a new career. So here's the thing, it's not about your age, it's not about what you think are your limitations, it's about what your will is. And when people used to make fun of me because I was so focused, I said, I treat it like I do everything else, my life depends on it. So the way I live now is I try to be myself, which is kind and supportive of others, but when it comes to myself, I do what I need to do because my life is depending on it. And I don't let anyone say no, I don't let anything get in the way, and I just started doing this, and most of my peers are 20 years younger than I am, but I don't see that as a barrier, and the only excuse I have for not doing well is myself. So it's just, I tell my 3 grown children, don't give me your bullshit excuses. Just pull it together and just go do it. Because I was able to obviously pull myself up by my bootstraps. My kids had the benefit of very good schools, and they don't have college debt. They're very lucky kids. But that's no excuse for not working as hard as I did.
There's going to be a lot of watershed moments. I can't pay the bills, go that direction. You just keep going the direction.
Find it. Yeah.
You keep doing it. And by the way, when I'm 60, I hope I look as good as you.